Hi everyone, good day. I'm going to walk you through the fundamentals of AWS VPC, its subcomponents, and a small demo on how to create and access virtual networks using AWS VPC. Basics of networking is essential to learn AWS VPC. So this basics of networking is already covered in the previous videos. It is recommended to go through that videos before proceeding to AWS VPC. If you like this video, please subscribe to VSPARKZ channel. These are the contents that we are going to see in this video. What is VPC? AWS VPC is a service using which you can create virtual networks in the cloud. These virtual networks closely resembles like your physical network. There are two types of VPC networks you can see. They are a default VPC, which is a default network created by AWS. A non-default VPC or a custom network which is created by us or by the users. But each and every VPC is logically separated or isolated. We must specify a IPv4 address range in the form of CIDR at the time of creating a VPC network. CIDR ranges may vary from /16 to /18. You can create a maximum of 5 VPCs per region, post which you can increase the quota limit by contacting AWS support team. Subnets. What is a subnet? A subnet, it is also called as a subdivided network. So it is a range of IP addresses that possess all the properties of a VPC. We can create a public subnet for the resources which needs to get connected to the internet. We can also create a private subnet to the resources which don't want to get connected to the internet. Normally, a VPC can span across the region, which means it covers all the availability zones. A VPC that you create in one region cannot be utilized or used in another region by the virtual machines. We can add one or more subnets in each and every availability zones. While creating subnets, we must specify the subset IP address of that particular VPC. A subnet can span within a single availability zone. The subnets can be either public or it can be a private subnet. Normally, how will you give the public addresses or how will you assign the public addresses to the virtual machines? You can do this with the help of these 3 points. You can define the public access to the virtual machines at the subnet level that is mentioned in the 3rd point, or you can explicitly mention at the time of EC2 launch. You can also create an elastic IP address. An elastic IP address is nothing but a static public IP address, and you can attach that elastic IP address to the required instances. Let us see the IP addressing schemes of a VPC. While creating a VPC, we have to use the block address, the IP address blocks from the private range of IPv4 scheme. You can see the IP scheme as specified in RFC standard 1918 below. The same is highlighted for your reference. So these three IP address ranges should be used for private IPv4 addressing schemes. The address ranges apart from these ranges are called as public addresses. How do you give internet access to the virtual networks that you are creating? Only if the virtual machines got internet access, we can able to access the virtual machines. We can control the access of EC2 instances outside of the VPC. It can be over the internet to other networks or on the on-premises networks. By default, in the default VPCs, an internet gateway is present that leverages the access over the internet. An IGW, that is the internet gateway, is a service which is by default connected to the internet. So normally we have to create that internet gateway, attach it to a VPC, thereby your VPC will get the internet access. Each default subnets in the default VPC is a public subnet, and hence the instances that you launch in each subnet will possess a public IPv4 addresses and a private IPv4 addresses. So these instances can communicate over the internet using the internet gateway. Whereas your non-default VPCs will not possess an internet gateway until you specify one for your accessibility. Each instance that you launch in a non-default subnets will carry a private IPv4 but no public IPv4 address. You should make a note on this. If you want a public address to be given to those machines, you have to explicitly assign one at the time of launch for the instances, or you have to modify the non-default subnet properties attribute. This is the architectural diagram of a VPC. Here in this VPC you can see two subnets got created in the respective availability zones. If your region has 3 availability zones, by default 3 subnets will get created in each and every availability zones by AWS, and by default this VPC has access to the internet with the help of an internet gateway. You can see the route table is already being updated by the public route. This is also be done by AWS. A custom VPC will also looks like this, but each and every component of this VPC has to be created by us. You can see the subnets, we can assign it as public subnet or we can assign it as a private subnet. It is up to us. Let us see a demo. The things that we are going to do in this demo is that we are going to create a custom VPC with one public subnet and one private subnet. We are going to create EC2 instances in the subnets. For example, we are going to create one EC2 instance in the public subnet and another EC2 instance in the private subnet. In the third step, we are going to connect these VMs from the local machine. Step 1. We are going to create a custom VPC. So just log into your console. Okay. You can see my account name towards your top right corner. So to create a VPC, just hit services. Hit VPC. Click your VPCs. You can see there is a VPC already being created by the AWS. So this is called as default VPC. You can see the default VPC column set to yes. Now we are going to create our own custom VPC. So the first step, once you do this, your VPC will look like this. Just go and hit create VPC. Just give a name tag. Cider block you have to mention. So I am taking the entire 16 bits, that's why I have given the cider as 16, which is used to distinguish the host portion with the network portion. Here my network portion is 172.19 and the host portion can be fit in here with 0.0. All those calculations has been already discussed in the previous videos. Just give create. My first VPC, the custom VPC got created. You can see the parameter default VPC is set to no. So once you create your VPC, you can see your route table which is being created as a part of this VPC creation. This will be created by default. You can see the VPC ID here, which means this route table belongs to this VPC. You can see a route that is created by default. So this is the exact picture. So with this, step 1 is done. Next step is to create the subnets. So I am going to create 2 subnets with public subnet as one and the private subnet as the other one. Just go and hit subnets. So these 3 subnets are all default subnets. You should never create the default things that exist in the console. Create a subnet. Give a name tag. Give the VPC ID here. I'm creating this subnet in availability zone AP South 1A. And the cider block you should mention here. So once you create your subnet, by default it will be a private subnet. You should make this subnet as public by setting this parameter. Go to Actions, Modify Auto Assign IP Settings, enable this option. Similarly, create the second subnet, but this subnet is going to be a private subnet. I am creating this subnet in availability zone 1B. So with this, step number 2 got over. Third step is to create the IGW. IGW stands for Internet Gateway. By default, an Internet Gateway is connected to the Internet. This Internet Gateway is just a service from AWS. Go and hit Internet Gateways. Just say create an Internet Gateway. Just give a name. So this Internet Gateway that is created is in detached state. You have to attach this to our VPC. Now this also done. The third step is to update our route table. Only if you update the route table, the machines inside this subnets can communicate to the internet. Otherwise, this router will not forward the packet from your custom VPC to the outside world. Remember that you are going to update the main route table. Click add route, give the proper route. So this IP address is nothing but all public address. Click the target as Internet Gateway. So now my step 4 is also done. Now I have the proper route, I have 2 subnets, and I got access to the internet with the help of Internet Gateway and the router. Now create the machines in each and every subnet. Go to Services, EC2, Launch Instance, select your network, that is VPC-1. Give it as subnet number 1, which means this machine is going to get launched in the public subnet. To enable the RDP protocol here, for time being I am opening all the traffics. Since this is the demo environment, I am opening all the ports, but in a production environment you should not open all the ports. Similarly, launch another machine. So this time let me take my Linux machine. So I am taking an Amazon Linux image here. Now this Linux image I am going to launch it in a private subnet. Just I am giving the tags for my machines. So this Windows VM is a public VM, thereby it will be getting public address as well as the private address. We can access this machine with the help of public addresses only. Whereas if you see the Linux machine, it has not got any public addresses since it has launched in Private Subnet. So I am going to connect this Windows machine. Just say connect. It is asking for your credentials. Just say connect. After selecting this machine, get password, choose file, downloads the key. You can decrypt your password. This is your password and your username. And you have got logged into the public VM. Whereas your private machines, that is the machine with no public addresses, cannot be accessed from the internet. You can check the same by pinging the private IP address of that particular machine. This IP address is not reachable. But whereas you can reach this machine from the public machine of your VPC. You can try the same. So now I am inside to that public machine. Just copy the private address of your private machine. Same thing. You can reach. That's it. So this is the exact summary what we have covered so far in this video. We have covered what is a VPC, subnets, IP addressing scheme of the VPC, and how to access the internet, a typical default VPC, a custom VPC, and a demo showing how to create a VPC, subnets, how to create machines inside our VPC, and how to access it. These things covered in this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to our VSPARKZ channel. Thank you from VSPARKZ.com. Thank you for spending your valuable time in watching this video. Good day ahead.